You guys are cool, or is there some sort of beef type thing going on? Or
I don't have a beef with him. I haven't spoken to him though.
when's the last time you guys spoke?
Yeah, it was after one of his rants about me. He had like a week of rants about me. When Joe first ran, Joe did he had the podcast cover, and it was me and him on the cover, and it said, "We are not the same." Charlamagne, you just a worker. You don't own anything. We not running the same race, blah, blah, blah. And I remember texting, the president of the Black Effect Podcast Network, my good sister Dolly Bishop, and, texting, a couple of the execs at iHeart who are in the podcast world. And I was like, man, we just got the best rollout ever.
What's good, Elevators? It's your boy Elevation here with another episode of the JBP Elevated, where we speak on the Joe Budden podcast and all of his co-hosts on and off the pod. It's funny how this works. It's funny how everything comes together so beautifully. I was already doing another revisited on the Charlamagne rant, and here we go with a TikTok. Shout out to my brother. Eventually, I'm going to get him comfortable enough to join the JBTV community in the sphere that we've built over here so he can get the majority of these takes off because he just be feeding them to me. But anyway, he sends me this TikTok. Apparently, Charlamagne went to DJ Vlad's platform and did an interview, and Vlad brought up Joe. Charlamagne said, I haven't spoken to Joe since he did his last rant on me. What was special about that rant that would make Charlamagne want to stop talking to Joe? And it's funny because he says it in the interview. When Joe came out with his podcast on Saturday, I hit up all the execs in the iHeart offices. I hit up all the execs for the Black Effect Network to say, congratulations, we just got a bigger rollout. But really, I was hitting them up to see what my splits were, to see what these titles hold, to see, am I really going to get anything from this? This is a partnership, right? I'm not working for you, we're working together. Now, this isn't a hit piece on Charlamagne, because like I said, I'm making a 30-minute rant breakdown on, it's going to be on my next JBP Revisited episode. Y'all let me know if y'all want to see that today. I'll rush it out. But anyway, Charlamagne, I'm not here to hate on you, sir, because the same thing that you did with the Black Effect Network and iHeartRadio, Joe silently did with Patreon. Joe is silently trying to foster relationships with Prize Picks, how you were able to with these execs. He's going in the same route you are, just using different channels. It'll be worded differently when I do it with these companies as opposed to doing it with a company. It would be different if he announced that him and Patreon were partnering together to fund the JBP. Y'all are one and the same. Y'all are two alpha males, and y'all know two alpha males can't exist in the same room, in the same jungle, in the same facility. You know exactly what it is as to why you won't speak to Joe, and it has nothing to do with this Black Effect Network. But it has everything to do with how Joe spoke on those allegations and spoke on your relationships with people that you were trying to build with as a result of those allegations. They walked your ass right out of them doors. That had nothing to do with Black Effect. Him bringing up the DV and the real allegations that he brought up, I'm not going to say him. Everything I'm speaking on is speculation. I don't know Charlamagne from a can of paint. But that was the real crux of the issue. And that's just something you can never recover from unless Joe comes out publicly on his platform and says, I was lying about those allegations. Everything I was speaking on was fabricated. The relationship will never exist. But my question is, why did the relationship exist in the first place? Another thing you let slip, well, not necessarily slip, but let be known, was you've known Joe for 20 plus years. He was probably one of your first major interviews, in your mind at least, when you were in South Carolina. And for some reason, you still have the tape, but it won't get released. So y'all have history. And Joe saw you go from unknown DJ to prominent DJ to the position that you're at currently. And you saw him go from failed rapper to notable, there I go, making up words again, notable rapper, and then famed podcaster. So y'all are looking at each other like, how did one get here? How did the other get here? And because of how y'all came up and y'all haven't always been quote unquote big bosses, y'all are always going to foster resentment towards each other, because in your story, only one underdog can come and get to where I'm at, and I'm the underdog. So how is he here, and why is he here? And notice y'all are still going about it in different ways. Y'all both were in the music industry, but you went through the media route. Joe was the rapper. And now y'all are both in the entertainment industry doing, in essence, the same thing, but y'all are going about it in different ways. The Breakfast Club is always going to be number one because it's syndicated on the radio. My mom listens to The Breakfast Club, 98.5. The Beat, San Antonio, Texas. They syndicate it. Joe's not syndicated with his podcast. It's two totally different games, but y'all are, in essence, reaching the same people. So there's always going to be a rift there. And the fact that DJ Vlad, out of all people, is the one that brings Joe up, and quiet as kept, this is something that a lot of people in the industry don't realize, but DJ Vlad, it's easy to spot with him because a lot of people hate him already, so they're going to try to pay attention to it more. But we all know DJ Vlad and Joe made up. They're cool now, but they had a beef. If Charlamagne hasn't been keeping up with what DJ Vlad has been doing, or the tabloids, or all the headlines, he won't know that they made up. So DJ Vlad set up the question to where if Charlamagne and Joe have beef, which of course DJ Vlad knows about, he could instigate or incite, whatever, Charlamagne to say something that A, can go viral, B, can incite more beef, C, he could be the middle of. So if Charlamagne's not careful with his response, which to me he was, Joe might hear it, he might respond, but he didn't say anything salacious. If Charlamagne's not careful with his response, this could go left real quick, all the way sideways. But like I said, Charlamagne, he was diplomatic in his response. He was smart because he's at the top of his lane, so he already knows the media games. But that's something for us to pay attention to. And it's not just people in the media. People in real life do this all the time. I know you have plex with this nigga, and in your head you think I have plex with this nigga too, but you don't know we've made amends behind the scenes. So I'm trying to gauge where you're at. And I could use that against you going forward. Even though you already know there's plex here. So pay attention to that. But like I said, next JB Revisit is going to be crazy. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this, just because it's back in the algorithm again. And I'm sure we'll hear a response from Joe, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get another classic Charlamagne rant. All right, I'll see y'all a little later today. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the page if you haven't. If you have, you already know how we rock it. Subscribe to the Patreon. Subscribe to the Twitter, Instagram. We're turning up on all platforms, man. Taking the training wheels off. See y'all soon. Peace.